And welcome. I'm Michelle Marchant Johnson, and I'm excited that you're here because today I'm going to share with you 3 magic phrases that can make a big difference with a man. They're simple but powerful, and then I'm even going to share with you a 4th bonus phrase. These powerful words can make a big difference in your overall experience with a man, and men love to hear them. You can use these and practice with these wherever they're applicable in your communication with men, whether it be in your professional life, your personal life, or your romantic life. I'm Michelle Marchant Johnson, and I work with incredible women around the world to help them be the best version of themselves, show up as a woman of high value, meet and attract a high quality man, and enjoy the relationship of their dreams. So these 3 phrases are really simple and yet really powerful, as I said. The first 3 come from various interviews and conversations I've had from the wonderful John Gray of Mars Venus fame. So I give him full and total credit for these first 3, but I'm going to share with you a little bit of my insights about them and why I think they're so powerful. And then I'm going to share with you a 4th bonus phrase that I didn't get from John Gray, but I think is equally powerful for a different reason. So before I get into that, I just want to share with you a little bit of context, if you will. So men in general live in a competitive environment and world. Women do too, but I would say it's even more that way for men because men generally are wired to compete with each other, to try to succeed, to try to be a few points ahead. They compete in terms of money, career, success, the woman that they're with, etc. And a lot of times men don't have a lot of positive feedback from a lot of different sources about how they're doing. And yet they long to feel appreciated, acknowledged, seen. They long to contribute. They long to know that they're making a difference, especially in the life of the woman that they might be with. And so these simple phrases kind of tap into that, if you will. And they're a way to kind of acknowledge, appreciate, and show respect for a man and who he is and what he has to offer. So the first magic phrase is simply, that's a good idea. So when a man is sharing something or he's offering something or he's coming up with an idea or a thought, just a simple phrase of acknowledgement that says, hey, that's a good idea, is a great way to make a man feel good because he feels like what he's offering and what he's sharing or what he's coming up with as an idea is being validated, and that validates him. Now, even if your idea is different than his, you can still say, that's a good idea. You know, another idea might be, and then share your idea. But acknowledge him, hear him, consider his idea to be valid by saying those magic words. It will be amazing the response you get when you say something like that to a man. The second magic phrase is, wow, you're right, or simply, you're right. Men love to be right because it gives them that feeling of competence, that their point of view, that their way of thinking about things or something that they're expressing an opinion about is valid and that it could be actually right. And again, even if you don't exactly see it the same way that he does, you can say, wow, you're right, or, you're right. That's a really interesting way of looking at that. Or, wow, you're right. I've never really thought about it that way. I've kind of thought about it and share your point of view. So in other words, it's just being gracious. It's just being kind. And it's just being receptive to what a man has to offer and to his point of view. And I really believe that one of the biggest gifts that we give each other as human beings in this day where everything is such a fast pace and people are moving so quickly, and oftentimes we have the attention span of a gnat, is simply our attention, our focus, really listening to and hearing each other. This is a tremendous gift that you can give to a man. And part of the reason that a man falls in love with a particular woman is that he feels validated, respected, appreciated, and heard. It's how he feels around you. He feels like what he has to offer, including his ideas and his point of view, are valid to you. So the third magic phrase that I got from John Gray is simply, well, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. So again, even if your point of view is different, you can still be that gracious woman who says, you know what, maybe what he's offering here, maybe his point of view makes sense on some level, even if it's different than mine. You know, I can tell you now, after having been married to my husband for almost 13 years, there have been many times that I've been certain that I'm right in my way of thinking about something, and my husband might have a little different or alternative point of view. And I have found that if I take the time to really listen to him, many times his point of view really does make sense. And maybe he is really right, or maybe he really does have some good ideas. And I think one of the keys to positive communication with a man is to actually take the time to listen. Now, along with dropping the John Gray name here, I'll also say that in interviewing Alison Armstrong a couple of times, one of the things that we had a conversation about once was how to listen to men. And one of the tips that she shared was that when you're having a conversation with a man, instead of like thinking so quickly about what you're going to say next or being uncomfortable with a little bit of silence and wanting to jump right in to fill in that silence, is to pause and allow for some time, even to the point that it feels a little uncomfortable, like up to 30 seconds of time for a man to continue his thought, to get out his thoughts, or to formulate his thoughts and to share more, because often there is more than what they might initially say. And that silence, if we allow for that without jumping in, even though it might feel a little bit uncomfortable to us as women, can sometimes invite some deep sharing from a man that we might not otherwise get. We might really get some deep insight into who this man is and really get some insight into what he might want to share if he feels safe with you. So that's just another little bonus tip. Now, phrase number 4, this one didn't come from John Gray like the first 3, but I think this one is equally powerful. And that is when something goes a little wrong. Let's just say you're on a date and something goes a little wrong. Maybe they didn't keep your reservation at the restaurant. Maybe he didn't make a reservation at the restaurant. Maybe the movie he selected for you to go see was a bust. It was a bomb. Maybe the food at the restaurant wasn't so good. I mean, this is real life, right? Things are not perfect in real life. And yet men feel very responsible for the experience that you have when they are taking you out on a date or they're providing something for you. And I'll share the magic phrase in just a minute. But before I do, I want to share just a little story that illustrates my point. So my husband and I kind of have this system. He has these desktop computers. He likes the latest and greatest desktop computers. I use a laptop mainly for my business, but I sometimes enjoy having a desktop. So when he gets the new latest and greatest, then he gives me his hand-me-down computer desktop for me to have as kind of a secondary computer for my business. Well, it's been really funny because the last 2 or 3 times this has happened, he's transferred this computer, once he's replaced his, into my office, and then inevitably something seems to go wrong with it, even though it was working perfectly before he gave it to me. And I've said this to him, I've shared it with him. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but something's going wrong with the computer. And it's like he takes it very personally because this computer that he's provided for me, thinking that he's doing a nice thing for me so that I have this second computer, is now not working. And he's feeling like, oh, I'm disappointing her, I'm letting her down. This computer that I'm providing for her isn't working now. Well, I'm not feeling that way at all. but he's taking it very personally because this is an experience and something that he's trying to provide for me. So this gives you a little insight into how responsible men feel for the experience or for whatever it is that they're providing for you. So going along with that, the fourth and bonus magic phrase is, it's not your fault. Even if you think it is his fault, if you can let him off the hook, let's just say he forgot to make reservations. Well, okay, technically that's sort of his fault. But on the other hand, maybe it's not his fault because maybe he didn't realize how busy that restaurant would be that night. Or maybe he had so many other things going on in his week that he just kind of spaced it off, even though he intended to provide you with a really nice experience. So it's kind of like letting him off the hook when things go wrong. So, like in the case of the computer with my husband, when I say, honey, it's not your fault. Sometimes, these machines, they just do weird things. That's technology for you. It's great when it works, and when it doesn't, okay. So, those are the four magic phrases. The three from John Gray, that's a good idea. Wow, you're right. Oh, that makes sense. And the bonus phrase, it's not your fault. Let him off the hook. Give him credit for what he's doing right. Look for the positive things and the things you can acknowledge and appreciate. Look for like the intention behind it and recognize perhaps that he's trying to provide you with a positive experience. And with these magic phrases, you'll be amazed at how men perk up and kind of puff out their shoulders and feel so good about what they're providing for you. And also, you'll be surprised at their positive reaction to you and how positively they respond to you. So these are very simple words and very simple phrases, and I really thank John Gray for sharing them in some of our conversations and being able to give just kind of my little spin and interpretation on it. I hope that's helpful for you. And I hope that you'll leave a comment below if you know any other magic man phrases, or leave a comment or question. Click the like button, click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and maybe even click that little bell so that you'll be notified when I put out new videos. Okay, I'm sending you love and blessings for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.